Not all skate parks are created equally, but every skate park is equally deserving of being showcased, such as this tiny little skate park behind me in Crystal River, Florida. I'm Wesley Bauer, and welcome to another episode of Skatepark Showcase. Let's check this thing out. Crystal River, Florida. I don't really know a whole lot about this town. It seems to me that it's pretty small. It is located about an hour and a half north of Tampa, Florida. And I don't really know much about this side of the state of Florida around like the curve of the Gulf. There seems to me that there aren't any big cities. There's just a lot of little smaller ones. So I decided that I would see if I can find one in one of these small towns right here on the Gulf. And this is the first one I was able to find. First thing I noticed when I pulled up is that there is not much here, and there is a lot of flat ground area with only ramps on one side of the park. So before we dive into the flat ground area, let's talk about the layout. So it's basically one big square, and tucked off on the far side of the park are Woodward ramps. It's one of Woodward's prefab skate parks. I've been to several skate parks that have very similar Woodward layouts just like this one. And I would say that the ramps only take up maybe a quarter to a third of all of the concrete out here. So as for the layout of the ramps, you've just got kind of a back and forth thing where you have a quarter on one side, a bank on the other side, and then your typical fun box in the middle. It's pretty simple. And then where the ramps aren't, there's a huge flat ground area. It's actually kind of nice that there is a giant flat ground area here. That's extremely rare for a skate park. I've only been to maybe one or two that have like a very large flat ground area. The concrete is nice and solid. It's pretty smooth, no cracks. It's a little rough, but not bad at all. You can still get some reverts in on your tricks. Plenty of space to just ride around, do your thing, get warmed up before you skate the ramps or the rails. It kind of reminds me of a tennis court surface, but it's a little bit grippy, like it's been painted over. So before we break down the ramps, let's get into the rails. First, there's the curved square rail, and that's pretty much a staple of most Woodward skate parks. I would probably say at least 60% of the Woodward skate parks I've been to have had that exact rail there. It's just off to the side to the quarter pipe, so it's not like it's all the way on the other end of the park, so you can skate the ramps and then hit the rail. And it does need some waxing because it's a little bit rusted, but once I got it waxed up, it was pretty good. Now, the other rail is the only thing out here that's not Woodward. I would assume that it's probably a rail that someone just built and put out here. It doesn't have any markings on it like it's been manufactured by a skateboard company, but it very well could be. I just don't know. The kink is like really steep and short, so I didn't touch that. But it's a nice solid rail. If you like round rails, it's definitely got some good length to it, and you can practice on the low and then the high. So it's pretty fun. And it's like way on the other end of the park, away from the ramps, where you can kind of like hit flat ground and then hit the rail, go back into flat ground. There's a really nice and mellow 3-foot quarter. It's about 12 feet long, 3 foot high. The coping's a little jiggly, but not bad. It's not like it's about to pop out or anything. It is nice and mellow, so it's great for beginner skaters, but it also kind of sucks that it's mellow, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But standalone by itself, it being mellow is really awesome because you can practice a lot of new tricks or get more technical stuff you may not be able to do on like larger quarter pipes. So by itself, it's a lot of fun. On the opposite side, we have the bank. It's the same thing. It's about 3 foot tall and 12 foot wide. The bank is nice and mellow. It's not super steep, easy to skate. do some flip tricks on, go back into the park, no complaints here. And then in the center, we have the fun box. And before we break down everything, I just want to talk about what's the most unique about this skate park, and it's attached to the fun box. On one side of the fun box, there is a hip, and I've been to a lot of Woodward skate parks that are small like this, but they don't have this hip right here. So it was cool seeing that there is a little hip here when normally it would just be bank, flat, and then bank again. I had a lot of fun on this hip. If you've watched other episodes, you know that I really love hips. So I was happy to see this addition here when I wasn't expecting it. It's nice and mellow. It's easy to get over. You don't need a ton of speed. I only have one gripe, and that's this area right here. Doesn't quite come out far enough. Maybe if it was out like another foot or two, it'd be a little bit easier to skate. You just have to be careful on your landing to make sure you don't go off the edge. So on the opposite side of the hip, there's like a curved kicker, like launch ramp. I can't really do a whole lot on them, but it is fun to just do the few tricks that I do know how to do on them. But usually you can launch a little bit higher off of these. Like the reason that they're curved is so you can get a good bit of air, and that's always a lot of fun. But the biggest issue is it's very difficult to get the adequate amount of speed to really get a lot of air off of it. And this is why. The 3-foot quarter pipe. It's just not tall enough or steep enough. It really just doesn't give you enough speed for the fun box, unfortunately. Maybe one other thing they could have done is just back it away, a little further away from the quarter pipe, and then you would have extra time to get a push in. So it was a bit of a struggle. I was like dropping in and pumping as hard as I could just to get enough speed to do a couple of tricks off of the curved kicker. So it was a bit of a struggle, but I still had fun on it. Those things are always fun to skate. And next, in the middle of the fun box, there is a nice flat rail and then handrail. I don't particularly like these types of handrails. For some reason, Woodward decided to make it to where the handrail extends way too far and goes like almost into the ground. If the angle was a little bit less steep, or if the rail was a little bit shorter, it'd be much easier to skate. So I didn't even touch it just because I've skated them before, and I don't like the way it feels when it shoots you straight into the ground. But on the top, the flat bar is really nice. The rail itself is a square rail, and it's nice and wide, so it's great for practicing like 50-50s and board slides and stuff like that. But once again, I was running into the issue of not getting enough speed. I like that the flat is really long and it's fun to skate long rails, but I was having trouble getting a lot of speed to get across the thing. So I was having to like wax it up a bunch just so I could make it all the way across and board slide it. But I was going like a snail's pace, so it was just like super slow. It felt really weird. So another gripe is basically just the speed. I wish you could get more speed here. And that's basically it. There's not a whole lot to this skate park, but it certainly is fun. Not a whole lot of complaints. There's lights out here. There's a button that you can just press when it starts to get dark, and the lights immediately cut on. They're very bright. You can easily skate out here at night, and there aren't any like really harsh shadows because the lighting is pretty evenly spread all around the park. I don't know if they're on a timer. I assume that they do cut off eventually, but you could probably just hit that button and keep it going. It doesn't appear to me that anybody ever shuts the gate. There are no rules posted or hours posted out here. This place is at the Bicentennial Park. There's a whole bunch of stuff here other than the skate park. They got restrooms out here. There's a playground next to the park. There's a basketball court, baseball fields, softball fields, whole lot of stuff out here. So right now, I'm literally the only one out here, and the lights are on here but not anywhere else. The parking lot's basically empty, so I'm just chilling here hanging out. So I have no idea what the skate community is like. Hopefully it's not like this all the time, but who knows. Sometimes it's kind of nice to have the skate park to yourself. There is a little bit of wear and tear here and there. It's not bad. Like, it's mainly just paint. Like, some of this stuff needs to be repainted. There's nothing dangerous out here. There's no pieces of metal that are sticking up. There's no pieces of the skate-like material that's missing. You can definitely tell it's pretty old. I would probably assume this was made between the years of 2000 and 2010. So it's been out here for a long time, but it's holding up really well, and Woodward parks typically hold up for a very, very long time. And that's it. Thank you guys for checking out another episode and sticking around with me. I've got a whole bunch of more stuff planned. I'd like to hit even more of the state of Florida if I can, and I want to find these like niche areas in the state of Florida that nobody's really been to or nobody really knows about, places I've never been to, and just tackle them and cover them and just to see what's out there. I really want to thank all of our Patreon subscribers. You guys have been amazing. I'm up to about a tank of gas every month, and you guys keep me on the road. All I need is $1 a month. That's all I ask for, and that'll just keep me on the road and make it to where I'm able to keep producing these episodes so we can let everybody know about all of the skate parks in the country and maybe one day the world. Who knows? But anyway, thank you guys for sticking around, and this is what's coming up next.